Hey guys, it's Julian, and today I'm going to be trying something that I haven't done in a little bit. So today, I'm going to be making a house track from scratch. I have this little MIDI file here, this bass line in front of me, and I'm just going to take that and try to make a track out of it. And then whatever I end up with is going to be available on Patreon for all my $5 and up patrons. So if you're a patron there, check it out. If you haven't already patronized me, patroned me, I don't know how you say that. But check that out there. And yeah, let's get started. So, like I said, I have this little bassline MIDI. Let me grab an operator here, and I'll start making a sound for it. Here's what it sounds like. Okay, so that's pretty good. I just wanted something that's kind of like sine wavy, but with a little bit more power to it, and a little bit more like upper harmonic content. I'll play around with these envelopes a bit. Alright, that sounds cool. So the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab a kick. I'm just going to get something from like a sample pack. But yeah, usually when you're making this kind of house, you know, you want to get the kick and the bass working together before you get anything else. And I'll kind of illustrate this here for you and just sort of show you what I mean. So I'm basically just going to try to find a kick that I think will fit well with this bass line. Maybe something like that. I may have to shorten that a little bit. But yeah, so we'll put this in here, and you can see we'll start playing it and just kind of listening to how these two sound together. Okay, so those two don't work super well, so maybe we'll try to find something a little bit different. That's cool. I'm going to play around with this, and I'm going to add a pitch envelope. If you don't know what a pitch envelope is, it's just sort of like an envelope, similar to how you would have like a volume envelope like this, where you can just kind of have like a quick decay and sustain. Similar thing here. We're just going to have this envelope on the pitch. We're just going to take the pitch from very high to to the original pitch of the sound very quickly, and it's going to add more of a punch to the start of the sound. And now I think these two will work together a little bit better. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a bit of some sidechain compression on this bass, and we'll sidechain that to the kick there. And that's cool. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of saturation to both of these, just to kind of warm them up a little bit. Alright, that sounds cool. And the thing is, like, you don't want to go too hard with, like, you know, adding too much effects at this stage. This stage is really just more about being creative and just trying to, like, trying to get, like, the creative flow going. So, the next thing I think I'm going to do here is let's get some hi-hats. I'll grab some 909 hi-hats. Pretty straightforward there. They're good for kind of, like, adding energy to the track, I feel like. So yeah, so let's just do, like, this to start out with. Let me make this clip a little bit shorter. That's cool. And while I'm here as well, I think I'm going to go to my library here and just grab a swing. I'm going to grab one of these Logic swings, or I guess you would call it a groove. But basically what these are just going to do is they're going to add swing to the track. It'll sort of take these 16 notes and make them a little bit groovier. This is what that will sound like. Let's use this one. I'm going to put that on the hi-hats and on the bass line, because those two have 16 notes. The kick, you don't need to put it on because it's just on the downbeats. Okay, so that's a little bit much, but you can hear, yeah, it's kind of like knocking those off the grid a little bit and making them be a little bit more groovy. So I'm going to open up the groove pool here. It's basically just all the grooves that you're using in your track. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I can now just switch these out. If I just grab another one and put it on there, then every single clip that has that groove on it will be changed. And that's a bit better. You can hear... Yeah, let's do that. Okay, cool. So the next thing that I think that I'm going to get here is like some sort of an open hi-hat. Let's check for something in the sample pack that I was in. I'm not too picky. Just something on the upbeats. Let's try that one. But yeah, I'm just looking for something here. I mean, this is, pretty standard fare at this point. I'm not really doing anything too crazy or like super outlandish or anything. I'm just trying to like put this together. Like I said, the stage is just mostly about like being creative and just trying to make everything work together. Nice. So then the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab a drum rack and we'll put some percussion in there. Let's obviously use the same pack for that. Yeah, it's really like nothing too crazy with the percussion. I just like to have something in there that's a little bit more than just like some hi-hats and a kick and a bass line. Alright, let's get one more. That's good. Alright, cool. So now we can just kind of make a pattern. I'll make this one 4 bars so we have some variation. I'll put the groove that we have on that. And then, yeah, we can just kind of get started. Like, with this, I just like to sort of aim for not necessarily happy accents, but like just trying a lot of different things and just seeing what works. Yeah, let's do that. I'll copy that over because I want that to be kind of recurring. And you'll see this more when I start to bring in like a clap and stuff. But I like having some percussion on like the little 16th note there before the 2 and the 4 because it kind of helps make like the clap which hits on the 2 and the 4. Again, I'll explain all this when I get to there again. But yeah, it just kind of helps to give it more groove and make that feel a little bit less forced, I feel like. Alright, that's cool. And I'll just copy those over. We'll just make this a 2-bar pattern. But yeah, you can see like this just adds a lot more like depth to it and makes it more, again, makes it more than just like some hi-hats and a kick and a bass line. Cool. So something that I think is going on here is it sounds a bit too rigid. I think it sounds like it needs something organic. So what I'm going to get here is I'm going to get a shaker. And I mean like a shaker loop. So I'll get like something, I'm not entirely sure which one of these will have something. Let's just grab something from like, let's get something from here. So yeah, like I said, bringing a shaker in is a really good way, especially a loop, is a really good way to kind of bring something more organic to it because as you can hear when this starts playing in a second, it's just a lot more like, yeah, it's a lot more live sounding. It's a little bit less rigid than these other sounds, which are obviously just programmed. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so you can hear that shaker kind of sits in there, and again, it helps to really bring it to life. I also went into the bass here and just added this oscillator D. I just want to turn it up. It adds a bit more harmonic content to the sound. Makes it a little bit more interesting. And yeah, so the next thing I think I'm going to get here is a clap. So let's find one in here somewhere. I'm not entirely sure where, but this is definitely where I would say we are ripe for a clap. Let's just try something from that other pack that we were using earlier. But yeah, like, I try not to add the claps too early. I try to sort of do it, at least in some way, with, like, some structure to it, because sometimes, like, you have, like, a really good idea. Like, I think this bass line is actually a really good idea, but if you develop it in the wrong way, or if you just, like, don't, like, yeah, if you just kind of do it in the wrong order, or in an order that doesn't really work for you, I find sometimes you can end up just discarding ideas that would otherwise have been, like, really good. So I try to do things in the right order so that I don't get that, basically. Alright, so this is sounding pretty good. So So let's start doing some kind of structuring here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take all of these. I'll put them at this bar 9 here, and then we'll duplicate that. Let's do this. So I'll make that, we'll make that 16 bars, I believe that would be. And then let's make a little intro. So I'm going to grab the bass line, and we're going to grab all the percussion besides the kick, and we'll copy that over. And then what I'm going to do here is on the bass line, I'm going to actually get an EQ8, and we're going to put that on, and I'm going to make this little like high pass here, and then we will automate that to only come on in the beginning. So in this part, when the sort of like drop comes, let's make a little marker there. Yeah, it'll turn off. Yeah, there we go. So you can hear it's filtered here, but you can still hear it because there's a lot of higher harmonic stuff going on in this bass. So you're hearing the bass. Matter of fact, let's make it this long. So we'll have this little part be like 8 bars, and then it'll go into the drop. Nice, and then you can hear when that EQ8 turns off, then the low end comes back to the bass. And this is kind of nice because, like, we think of the things that really make us dance and really feel like the intense parts of the track that are, like, I guess you would define as the drop, are really in, like, the low end. Like, it's like the kick and the bass and stuff like that. So when you filter out the low end in the beginning here, then when the drop hits, it just comes in that much harder. Like, if you listen to the transition here, yeah, definitely a lot less flat that way than if we had just made it just like one thing the whole way through. So I think I'm gonna play around with this kick a little bit actually and try to find a little bit of a better sample. This one was just something quick I was trying to get in here, and that's fine. You know, sometimes when you're starting a track, you just want to move quickly, and then you go back and sort of refine it later. So let's try to find something a little bit punchier maybe. Let me check in here. Where is this? There we go. Yeah, that's a bit better. So you can see that just kind of has a little bit of a dirtier vibe. It kind of blends a little bit better with that kick. I feel like if we listen to them together. Like I said, how powerful and how strong these two sound together is really going to make a strong foundation for your track. So it's important to really make them work together. And I think I'm going to turn the saturator back on the kick, and I'm going to play around with it a little bit. I'm going to change this color mode to sinoid fold, and we'll keep that drive up. Yeah, there we go. So I think this needs some kind of like ear candy or something. Let me try and make like an ARP or maybe some kind of a drone over top of it. Let's see. I believe, I'm not exactly sure what key this is in actually, to be honest with you. We are in, okay, we're in C minor. So maybe I'll make like some kind of a long note to be like a drone. Let me grab that side chain from the bass and put it on there, and we'll mess with this amp real quick. All right, let's hear how that sounds. I'm just curious. Nah, let me have this come in here, and we'll play around with the sound a little bit. Like, I'll put on a bandpass filter real quick, and turn on some resonance, turn off that envelope. Okay, that's something. We'll come back to it and keep playing with it. Like I said, you know, sometimes you want to just put something in there quickly, and then later you come back and refine it. So let me try and add maybe like an ARP or something here. Let's just do like a C minor, something like this. Nice. So what we're getting here is what's called a polyrhythm. If you don't know what a polyrhythm is, it's basically when you have like multiple kind of rhythms going on at once. So I'm actually going to copy this over a bunch of times, and then I will explain this. But yeah, so what's happening here is this bass line, and I've explained this in a few of my other tutorials, but basically the bass line is happening over a matter of bars. Like if you hear this, you can very easily discern, okay, there's 1 bar, then there's 2, then there's 3, and then there's the 4th bar. So it's very linear and sort of rigid like that, which is obviously something you want for your bass line, especially in a house track like this. Now what the ARP is doing is you can see the pattern. So all these notes that I'm highlighting right now, those notes are basically the full pattern. And then these other times that this is playing here are just that restarting. So this is happening on a polyrhythm because this is not perfectly a bar and the other one is perfectly a bar. So you're getting those together. And yeah, you can hear it just kind of makes it so much more interesting, and yeah, I just think it works a lot better this way. Having something kind of interesting like that. Nice, so let's put a bit of effects on this. I'm going to grab an echo here, and we will, once that loads, we'll unsync that. Awesome. So, you know what I'm going to do also? The last thing I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this ARP and we'll have it start like halfway through the little break there. So, let's copy this pattern over one more time. There we go. Cool, so in this little bit of time, I've kind of shown you some techniques here. I put together like this quick little groove and hopefully set a pretty good foundation of knowledge for you to make your own kind of house track. Yeah, so that's gonna be it for today, guys. Make sure to let me know what you think of this video in the comments, and make sure to let me know if you want to see more of these like from scratch videos. I know a lot of you have requested them, so I figured, yeah, this one hopefully should be good for that. And let me know if you want to see more. As usual, you can get the project file and samples from this video on my Patreon for all $5 and up patrons. So if you're a patron, check there. Or if you're thinking about becoming a patron, now might be a good time. Anyway, thank you so much, everybody, and I will see you again tomorrow with another tutorial.